It is your girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I am the Draw My Life prison wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before all fades to black. It's your girl Cadillac. Well, to come out here to the park to draw like usual, but dang, I guess I'm in the way now. So I'm gonna try to hurry up and do this before they ask me to move. Girl, okay, talk about wrong timing. But anyway, so I'm gonna doing my drawing of this sneak revamp. So as I am working on this picture, this will be the third session of working on this drawing. The last one I did was when I was at work on my lunch break, but we're also going to review Miss Rajiva the ruler. Let me get this set up. We're going to finish reviewing her video about snitching. Are you for snitches get stitches? You know, that no snitch policy that they say is in the hood or whatever. Or are you for like, which way do you go? Do you agree with it or disagree? Let me find that video so we can listen to that audio, because I did too much rambling earlier, and y'all see I had dropped the phone because my carpal tunnel was acting up. I went home since 8 got me some no, not an ad. I got my took my muscle relaxers. Aiden took my muscle relaxers, so hopefully my hands can get some movement to it. So we'll see. I don't know. We work with, you know, what we got, girl. So let's get back into Rajiva the ruler's video, because you know what made me do that. I told Marchello had called me and he's like, girl, what you doing? You know, you always want to know what I'm up to. And I'm like, oh, I'm just working on, you know, reviewing a video of another YouTuber. And he's like, and you're not drawing? And I'm like, no, I just kind of felt the need to. He was like, aren't you supposed to be drawing? Because though that's what you said people are liking. And I'm like, yeah, he is, right? So we got the sketchbook and ready, and we finna finish working on this while we review.
Just can't believe what went down, or whatever the case may be. Or you left your shoe at the crime, or it was your car that they was driving. So however you slipped on your pimping, right?
She's very
So they
funny.
end up catching you. Now they get you in this room and they're telling you, you know, we know this, we know that, this was you, this blah blah blah, we got this witness, we got that, we got this evidence, and they telling you all this stuff. So now you in here and you shook, and they like, if you tell us who the other two was, we'll give you probation, or we'll give you a lighter sentence. We'll only give you X amount of time instead of 20, 30, 40 years. We'll only give you 7, 5, 10, whatever the agreement is that they give you, or you can go home scot-free. And because you feel like you do not want to spend the next 20, 30, 40 years in prison, because that's what they're going to give you, okay? If they have enough evidence, especially when they get you and they offer you the chance to snitch and you do not tell, honey, they gonna put a rope.
That's the one part where I had to put a little side note. She said, especially if they got the evidence. Well, in Marcello's case, they don't have any evidence. But I know everything. I'm not like one of those people that say, when you say something, they automatically oppose it because they're like, oh no, but in this case, this happened, you know. So she never says it's always that way. She always says in most cases. So people got hard times with listening. So I know that she said in most cases, which that is true in most cases. But in Marcello's case, they don't have any evidence, and yet they still were allowed to, they still allowed the full case to be put on Marchello Jackson. They have no fingerprints in the case of Marchello Jackson. They have no DNA. They have a weapon that they charge Marchello with, but they claim they didn't produce the weapon, they didn't find it. But because someone said, oh, there was cold steel against my nose, they went ahead and went with that. Oh, that's a weapon, but never produced a weapon, never found a weapon. And I do have a video that I will link in the description box below to, and it proves, I'm sitting there proving that if there were a weapon in Marcello's case, there is no way that the law enforcement could not have recovered that weapon. So why are they not bringing that weapon forward if they have it? Okay, so that makes zero sense. But I'm going to tell you my theory on it, because there was no weapon. If you have a weapon that proves, is proven that Marchello had a weapon, he pulled this weapon on these people, why wouldn't you bring it to court? And there is zero possibility that these people could not have recovered the weapon if there in fact was a weapon. And I proved that in that video. So watch that video and then come back to this one. So if they have this weapon, why are they not bringing it forward? Because that would be a slam dunk case against Mr. Marchello Jackson, right? And then you can put him away soundly without saying, oh, well, we have no fingerprints on Marchello, we have no DNA on him, they said he had a weapon, we couldn't find a weapon, but we still gonna charge him with it. Like, all of that would be obsolete. I'm trying to get the picture to come up. All of that would be obsolete if you just brought brought the weapon to court. And then also, the weapon holds weight, baby. A crime is, your time that you're going to do on a crime is escalated times 4 to 3 to 4 times when you include a weapon. So they were allowed to include a weapon on Marchello, but they never had to produce it. So that's just hearsay. So somebody, we don't know if they're the most trustworthy person. And then she also gets into it where she hates when this snitching thing happens because somebody has something to gain off of them snitching. So when it's somebody that has something to gain, it's like, basically, I'm trying to save my A, and I just got to throw you under the bus to save my A, and that's what happened. So let's get back to this. Play. Why I don't want to play?
Around your neck and hang you. That's just the name of the game. So you don't want to do all this time. You end up telling it on your homeboys, and then you end up getting you some probation, only doing 5 years. Now these boys got 40, 50 life sentences and all of that. And it's like, how I feel about snitching is, it's a self-preservation tactic. It's something that a lot of people do because it's like, I don't want to do the time. I don't want to go to prison. I don't want to go to prison for 30, 40 years. I don't want to do that much time. Like, I can't go to prison. I got a baby. I got a family. I got an old lady or whatever it is.
And that's the one part I did comment on her video as well. And she's saying that the reason that the people, this is basically an example scenario that she's given, but it happens all the time. And the person is saying, hey, I don't want to go to jail because my grandmama said, and I have a baby, my old lady is pregnant and this and that. And what I said was, the person that you basically are snitching on or throwing under the bus, because what it is, okay, it's not really considered, it's not snitching per se. The legal term of snitching is basically turning case evidence against somebody. So you're taking a plea. That's what the snitching implies, that you're getting a plea deal for turning somebody over and working with the state. So when I say the word snitching, it wasn't really nothing that you could snitch on Marchello about because he didn't commit the crime. But what snitching usually is me throwing it on you, saying that, hey, you did this and I'm going to help you convict this person. Sometimes that the person is on in on whatever is going down. And in Marchello's case, he just got his butt in the car. He was picked up on the way to get dropped off home, 2 blocks from home, not knowing that would be the rest of his darn life. So snitching is basically taking a plea deal and turning state evidence against somebody and getting a lighter sentence.
My grandma's getting old and I won't be able to see my grandma.
And sorry,
whatever
I forgot
the
that
case
part.
may be.
But those people that you snitching on, baby, they have family. They have sick grandmas. Marchello, when this all happened, we just had a baby. I wasn't even hardly off of bed rest before Marchello was snatched from the house. Money was only 2 months old. By the time he went to trial and lost his rigged up trial, Money was only 9 months old. Our granddaughter, Princess, is now the age that Money was when she lost her father. So, I mean, we have that too. Like, you thinking about you trying to save your butt, throwing somebody up under the bus, But what about the people that have family too? You know what I'm saying? Like this has caused our daughter to struggle. This definitely caused me to struggle. I know y'all say I could have moved on and that was my choice, but I mean, I'm gonna oppose it because that was my soulmate. Like, I really couldn't have found no soulmate nowhere else, and I'm marrying him for better or for worse. So this is definitely worse. So now the moment he needs me, I up and leave him. But I know that's the reasoning. That's the same thing, girl. I promise you, that's the same thing. That's like me taking the plea, taking the lighter end of the stick, and leaving him with the short end of the stick. That's the same thing. Like, okay, I know I had nothing to do with it, but you got to do what's best for you, which is true, girl. So don't believe that I'm saying, yes, stand by your man through his sentence. That's what you got to deal with. And there are consequences and penalties that you are going to pay for staying with that person. But that would be like me, hey, we in on this marriage, the same thing, like, oh God, we finna go hit this lick or this and this and that, and then something goes down and one person jumps ship and taking a plea. That's like me jumping ship and say, hey, I know we was in this for life, but girl, you finna go do life. I got to save my life. Ain't that the same difference? That's the same darn difference to me. You know I like analogies.
Whatever reason that you give, and it's like you justify telling on your homeboys now.
Smoothing all that together. Oh no,
okay,
she's monetized, so she
one,
get ads.
if you gonna be out here moving any kind of way, it don't matter if it's criminal activity, if it's in a business, if it's in the corporate world, if it's on a farm, whatever business you decide to do and partake in, you need to do that to the best of your ability, okay? If you're going to be a criminal and you're going to commit crimes, you need to learn how to be the best criminal, or you might as well just stop committing crime, because what are you trying to go to prison? And if you know you're committing crimes, okay, why is it that when you get caught and they give you the chance to sing, you start going Beyonce? Your mama was sick when you was out there running around in them streets committing them crimes.
And they don't want to pay the penalties.
You knew your old lady was having a baby when you was out there robbing them stores. Mm-hmm. You knew it was a possibility that it can happen. And it's like, my problem with snitching is because you don't want to do it, but you willingly participate in the crime, you would give away your two homeboys who had enough sense that God gave you to find a way not to get caught up. But you, for whatever reason, got caught slipping on your pippin, and now you feel like it's okay for you to tell because it's like, oh, well, we all did it together. But you the one got caught, my friend.
Yes.
You the one got caught.
Okay, so right now I'm done with Miss Neek, the facial features, all of that. And you know, the rest I wanted to paint in with my acrylic paint set that I have, because this picture is very interesting. Let me see, can I show you the picture of her? I loved it when I seen it. Okay, my computer acting up. It's not taking, yeah, it's taking too long. I ain't gonna be able to show it to you. Okay, I'm gonna continue to try to get this to open, but I'll play Regiva while it's opening.
It's sad that you got caught. It's a horrible situation, but you got caught. Why you want to tell on everybody else? Mm-hmm. You should have just been a law-abiding citizen. If you know you can't go to prison,
that's
and you know
the
you
best
can't do
thing.
time, like, go to church. Okay? That's my problem with snitching. And then the other back end of it is you have law enforcement where
this is where it gets real.
Give you a lesser sentence if you help them. Now, my problem with that is you should not be able to bend the law in your favor when you don't bend the law in my favor, which the Constitution.
Now, that part that she's getting into, that is what's causing the corruption. That's a big part of what is causing the wrongful convictions. That is a big part of what's causing this unequal justice, because people are literally doing crimes and getting different times, different sentences. That is also a part of justice. If you commit a crime, there is a allotted amount of time that you're supposed to get for that crime. Now, they're choosing the person that doesn't take the plea, which is not snitching, gets the allotted time for the crime to the highest. Now, the person that does take the plea is getting the lowest, least amount, if anything, for the same allotted crime. That's how you got people in for murking people and getting less time than those that are in for substances or something like that. That's where you got all this unequal justice. And that literally was only supposed to be used, giving people deals and stuff when they have situations where they cannot solve these cases and they want to solve the case, you know, to give closure to the family. This is not giving the families closure by just locking up a body. And it may not be the body that did it. Just like the example that Rajiva gives. Y'all went in to, like, if you went in supposedly to rob the place and the clerk gets shot by the other person. Okay, so the family didn't get the person that shot their loved one. So they're not getting justice. Nobody is getting justice. You have the illusion that you're getting justice, but you're not really getting justice because the person that took your family member is not the one. They're going to be right back out after a few years. That's why I don't understand why people are so okay with the way the system is. Okay, hold on. But, girl, you know I'm in an advocacy group for criminal justice reform and prison reform, and there are even family members and they want the system changed. So see, this is the picture. See the colors in the hair. I'm going to do that with the acrylic. So because of that, I'm going to sit this picture to the side for a moment, and I'm going to work on the second session of Pretty Girl Boss that I was working on as well. But that's why everybody should really care, because there are people in this advocacy group saying that they want the person that did it. They don't want just somebody that took a plea to get off. This person is still out and free, and then the person that, you know, was just there serving all that time. That's not giving that person justice at all. Or because the person that is there, they may not even look further. Once, you know, the person turns that state evidence, they might not even look or research that case anymore. Most likely they ain't, because they hardly research the cases anyway. You do more work researching the case. Like, girl, how did I do more research in Marchello's case, finding the real clues, the real evidence, the real stuff? How did I do more than a whole police force? Please answer that. So there's the image of Pretty Girl Boss, and we're going to go ahead and start sketching that as we listen to the rest of, well, as much as we can fit in this video. Ain't too much more time left.
Whole law enforcement, it upholds our individual rights as a person. So you can bend the Constitution to support you, but the Constitution was written to support me. But you will violate my constitutional rights to help your agenda. Yep. But you won't violate the Constitution and the rights that I'm supposed to have to help me. I could have been the one that shot the person. Mm-hmm. My other homeboys didn't even know what was going on. I could have been the one that shot the person at the cash register because I got a little too trigger happy. Finger was itching. And you'll give me 5 years. You'll give me probation. You'll give me 10 years.
They will.
And now they got to get 30 and 40. But I'm the one that shot the man because I cooperated. Because I complied.
They overuse
You'll give me a lesser sentence, and that is my problem with snitching on both sides. When you commit a crime, you know what life you're living. You know what the possibilities is. Everybody knows. You commit a crime, you go to jail. Okay? That's just a fact. And on the police's end, how is it okay for you to manipulate a statute that is put in place to protect me in society, to serve your own agenda?
Because they're not doing it for our betterment.
I just don't understand it. Is it something that culture has taught us that it's okay?
It sure has, because people
like,
don't think for themselves.
So it's like taboo to tell. I feel like it's taboo to tell for multiple reasons, because the people that are telling are not telling because they're law-abiding citizens and they want to keep the community pure. They're not telling because it affected them in a way that they had no
squeal
parts in it,
first
and they
gets
just
the
want to make
deal
sure justice
first,
is served.
girl.
That is not why people tell. People get in there and tell for self-preservation, and there's an issue with that. If I go out and I'm running around acting crazy and the police catch me and my homegirl gets away, it is not okay for me to tell on her. It is not okay for me to tell on her so that I can go home soon and she can get 30 to 40 years. It is not okay for you to willingly commit a crime with somebody, and then when you get caught, you sing just to save yourself. Because if you can't do any prison time or you do not want to go to jail, stop committing crimes. They run a street life and they brag about being gangster and they act like they hard and they live this whole lifestyle like they some type
And
of
that's how
gangster.
she's tying in. I know she's not mentioning it, but
if somebody try me, I lay them down like this, or my ops know better than to play with me.
So that's how she's tying in this music industry. This music industry, they as well are using it against our youth. You see how she just said how they talking this and they talking that, but then they go to court, then it's a whole different story. They're taking pleas and they're snitching, right? But that's they want that to be out there for our young boys, our young men to follow that example. Yeah, he's cool because he got this and he got that and he don't care about his ops and this and this and that. That music industry is feeding, is perpetuating criminal activity. It really is. It's perpetuating it. And I know most gonna say, oh no, but I don't have to listen to it. I could just listen to the music and not do what they say. Girl, most people can't. When I was listening to Beyonce, girl, I wanted to be Beyonce, like for real. So that music is leaving an impression on our youth, and they like that music for our young African American men and women, so that it can lead them in that stereotypical direction. Which black boys, they want them in prison cells, girl. Birthing boys for the prison, birthing our young black men.
Like, you live this whole lifestyle as if you're about that life, but when that lifestyle comes to collect, because it always does, you ain't got no money. Your bank account say insufficient funds.
Yeah.
And now you want to tap into somebody else's bank account because your mouth wrote a check that your ass can't cash. And y'all want people to feel like it's okay for me to throw you under the bus because I don't want to get ran over by it. But I was the one laying in the street with you. We was laying in the street together. We both knew it was a possibility that the bus was coming. But I get up and let you lay down when we agreed to lay there together. So I have an issue with that. And as far as there being like a street cred or a street code as far as snitching, honestly, that goes out the window. When you get in that room with that officer and they start telling you what can happen to you, what they'll do to you, and the opportunities and options that they give you when you sit in that room.
And you sitting up there waiting on your rights.
You're not thinking about how the streets gonna feel about you
and
telling
your constitutional rights and what they can and can't do.
Georgie.
Oh, if I keep it real, they gonna think I'm a G.
Yeah,
they gonna think I'm solid.
You just real and gone.
You're not thinking about if I tell somebody gonna harm my family or somebody gonna harm me. You're not thinking about how nobody feel about the decision you're finna
getting
make.
up out of that
and I speak from experience because I was the person in that room. I was the person in that room. Okay? I sat in the room with those two officers on that task force, and they did the same thing, had the same conversation with me. They tried the first 48, me too. And as I sat in there, and they told me, we know you have nothing to do with it.
That's the first thing they're going to do is put you against a co-defendant.
We'll let you go home right now. Charges will be dropped. No charges will be processed if you agree to work with us against your co-defendant. Mm-hmm. And when I told them,